All right, welcome to the Singletrack Session number 89. Approaching 100 here, triple digits. Part of the TrailManners podcast. We are here at, what did we decide, Grant Studios? Is that what we decided?
I like that.
Okay, we're at Grant Studios. Not our good friend Grant.
Ooh.
In Jackson area, or wherever he is. He's kind of fallen off the radar a bit. I've seen a few posts lately, but...
Yeah, looks like he's back out running again on Josie's Ridge up on Snow King Mountain.
So he's still in Jackson area, it sounds like.
It sounds like it,
All right. So we had a long week. I've been sick for going on 10, 11 days.
Yeah.
One thing after another. Really hoping to put some shoes on and run on the trails tomorrow.
They're pretty nice right now.
I know. Minus, I'm seeing more snake photos, and so now I'm kind of not happy.
Right.
Like I haven't thought about them all year, and now I'm seeing photos, so I'm thinking, man, now when I run, I have to pay attention.
Yeah, we will.
So that really bums me out. And I've had some dreams or nightmares about rattlesnakes in the last 4 days.
Huh.
Yeah. So I'm not really happy about that.
Yeah, I did some more trail noodling the other day.
You did?
Yeah.
It looks like you got all your fingers out.
Yeah, somebody threw some rocks down that badger hole.
Try to block him in?
Yeah. I was down there pulling the rocks out. So I like to see him, pop his head out and scare the mess out of somebody.
It's what do you call that? It's a badger day, not groundhog day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've seen that where people just cover the holes.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the badgers are strong enough to move most of them.
Yeah, I'm going there too.
Or you dig around it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if rocks are really going to deter it.
Yeah.
I mean,
try your best.
Yeah, someone bolted my front.
Care.
Yeah, if they bolted my front door shut, I'd just go in a window anyway.
Right.
So then break the bolt down. But we had a lot of races last weekend. Some of them are kind of those big iconic ones. Some are not. So we're going to cover a few just because we like to stay in the loop. And there's some big ones with some top Americans and other athletes running.
Right.
So we'll go through that, and then we'll get the Ask TrailManners and go through a few more ditties. So let's start in La Palma at the Canary Islands.
Right.
Transvolcania was last weekend. Mm-hmm. On the women's side, this is a pretty tight group. Ida Nilsson at 8:40.
Yeah.
Monica Comas at 8:46. And American Kelly Wolf at 8:49. So 9-minute difference between the top three.
That's really good.
So that is pretty stout, which is nice. On the men's side, and these are names that you will probably never hear again because I'm going to pronounce them wrong, so you don't know what I'm talking about. P-E-R-E. It's not Pierre. It's not, I'm going to say Pear. P-E-R-E. Last name Arl. A-U-R-E-L-L. I don't know.
Perry?
If I was just looking at it, like sounding it out in 5th grade, I'd go Perry Arel.
There you go.
737. That's how I'll do it now. 5th grade pronunciation. Dmitry Mityev.
Ooh, nice.
Came in 56 seconds later.
Wow, that's close.
And then 5 minutes from the leader was, and this is one I want to know how to pronounce, Thibaut, because I've seen that before.
Like Thibaut or something like that?
Thibaut.
Like
Garivier, 742. And I got the V-I-E-R in French is
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watch soccer. So that was the top three men for the Transvolcania. And I was noticing, too, there wasn't in a lot of these races this past weekend what you might consider some of the, I don't know, more iconic big hitters. And I don't know if it's more focused on, like, Western States and some of the other stuff, or they've been just running a lot. But, there's some definitely absent names when you're talking international racing that you just don't hear as many of. Some of these names... Again, I am not European-based, so some of these names I'm not familiar with.
Exactly.
So,
for them, these are their big hitters.
Yeah, so I know Ida Nilsson, I know Kelly Wolf.
Kelly Wolf's U.S., though, right?
Yeah. But so I know two of the top three women. I'm not familiar with Monica. They took second. Right. On the men's side, I'm drawing a blank.
Like zero.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
You have to get down to, like, Cody Reed.
Yeah, stuff like that when you get a little lower. So... but then there's also UROC, Ultra Race of Champions, which has been going on for a while. They came out originally to kind of be that money race in the U.S., right? The big hitter, bring all the
East Coast.
And it didn't seem to pan out like...
It never did.
Yeah.
Then they moved it to the West.
Yep.
Didn't work. Now they're back East.
Yep. So that was this past weekend. On the women's side, Amanda Basham, who we're familiar with, she's a two-time winner. Now, this is what's cool. She finished in 10:40.
Yeah.
That was third overall.
I know.
It's crazy. Yeah. And that was third overall by seconds. She was almost second overall. Mm-hmm. So Amanda, great job. She won last year as well. Second place was Sarah Keys at 11:55, and third was Samantha Creeth at 12:36. And on the men's side, here's my West Coast not being as informed. The men's, not familiar with the men's side. Tyler Sine, 10:08. Jeff Colt, 10:40. Mm-hmm. And Brock Butler, 10:48. Mm-hmm. Not as familiar with them, but good news. I think I nailed all their names.
There you go.
Tyler, Jeff, and Brock.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping there's no umlauts over the O on Brock, so it's something weird.
Brook
Butler. So that was a UROC race. We also had what we talked about last week, the World Trail Running Championships.
Yes.
In Spain. Again, some of these names absolutely not familiar with. In fact, out of the six...
do we have like a country? Can we just rank the countries?
I think Spain.
I think they came in first.
Yeah.
So Luis, Alberto,
Hernando, and that's the one I know.
He crushed.
Yeah, I always like that Hernando last name. I want to break out in the song.
Yeah.
On the men's side, Luis Alberto Hernando, 8:38. Mm-hmm. Second was Christopher Clemente, 8:46. And third, Tom Evans from the UK, 8:49.
Yeah, there you go. You nailed all those names.
Pretty close, maybe. On the women's side, it was Ragna DeBots, 9:55. Leah Keynes, I know it's not its fifth grade pronunciation, it's probably Canis.
Leia Skywalker.
Yeah, 10:11, and third was Claire Mogul at 10:15. So that was kind of the big race with the country race, right? Where there's kind of Olympic like style almost. Scoring. Yeah. So I should have looked deeper to see kind of how the U.S. fared in that, but I know it wasn't real well.
Don't think they did too good.
But either way. A lot of names, and these aren't like miniature races either. These are some big races with a lot of names. So it kind of goes back to that whole idea of how many people are running now.
So many.
Like what would you do? What if you threw a Killian or a Walmsley or someone like that in one of those races? What would the difference between what they would do comparing to who won? Would there be a huge gap? Would it be tight?
Luis.
Well, Luis there. He's 40.
He's 40 and he's crushing it.
Yeah, that's what's awesome.
Yeah. He's the best runner in the world.
Yeah.
Really.
But that's the thing, is like the difference in some of these races. Right. And there's a lot of local U.S. races as well. Yeah. But just thinking about what the gap is when the big names don't come out.
Yeah, right? I mean, he is a big name. So but he measured the bar. The bar was set by him, right?
And he was 8:38, and so second was 8:46. So it's 8-minute difference, and then third was 11 minutes. So I mean, it's not that far apart,
right? We're talking about an ultra race here.
Yeah, exactly. What was the distance on that? I didn't pay attention.
I don't know if they ran. They must have ran a 50-miler.
8 hours?
Maybe even 100K.
100K?
Somewhere in that area.
I'm thinking 100K.
Yeah, let's say 100. Somewhere around the 100K.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know what the elevation gain was on that, but probably somewhere around the 100K.
So, I mean, that's... I'm just curious on somebody, like UROC. Let's give UROC an example. Tyler Sine wins in 10:08. Mm-hmm. Is that a good time?
I don't know. I don't know what that course is like.
Amanda Basham. She was 10:40, and she bettered her time from last year.
That's 100K.
Yeah, so I'm thinking. So, I mean, we know who she is. We know she's fast, but the other names on there I'm not as familiar with.
Right.
So,
but we need another race to base the result off of, right?
Yeah.
We need something that we're familiar with to base that. We're like, okay, they came out and they ran Miwok,
100K, right?
Yeah, they ran Miwok. We know how difficult that is.
So the men's side at 10:08 at UROC.
That's fast.
So
I don't care whose book that is. That's fast.
No, exactly. But you say, would Walmsley go?
Oh God, he would go
9 something, under 9.
Yeah, I'd say under 9.
Okay, that's what I'm curious. Is like when bigger. The names we're seeing now that are winning everything.
Yeah.
Courtney DeWalter, would she have showed up? How would she have fared against Amanda?
She would have won.
Yeah, so that's
I'm not bashing Amanda.
Yeah, no pun intended.
Yeah, exactly.
Bash him, yeah. But that's always what's curious, and I think that's what's fun about a Western States. Right. You draw them the best you can to that location, and a lot of people look at UTMB like that. I don't, because it's such a different course.
Totally different.
You know what I mean? So, I think right now Western is kind of that course, because you literally you earn your way in.
Yeah.
Right. Whether you finish top 10, whether you get a golden ticket. So you earn your way in.
Or if you got a sponsor.
And pretty much most of the big names show up. Yes. You always miss names, and Killian doesn't run this year. He's hurt, but he has run it.
Ran 6 years ago.
Yeah, so I mean, you do get that. So that's why I think Western draws to me. Because people keep asking me, is Western State still the race? And for me, it's not, because I like a hard rock type of race more.
Right.
But I mean, when you put the speed and who's who, it's Western right now in my book,
for sure.
Right, in the U.S. And when you go overseas,
it's UTMB.
Yeah, and I think the U.S. draws. I don't know. It's just you draw some of that European base where UTMB still does draw that American base. So I think they're fairly comparable as far as the go-to.
Yeah,
who's
especially
the fast person
competing for those international world trail ultra whatever points.
UT, WTC, QSB,
like
RSVP. Yeah, whatever the initials
trying to get
are.
the points to get the money.
Yeah. But that's why I think it'll be fun to follow up to Western.
Okay.
See who's not hurt, because I'm noticing like Ian Sharman's been hurt.
Yeah, he got some needles in the butt. Did you see that?
Yeah, he got bit by a dog recently, it looked like.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's the worst.
But, yeah, I mean, you see, do they come in healthy?
Right.
Do they come in overtrained? You know?
That's going to be the hard part for those Coconino Cowboys. Those guys are crushing it right now. Did you see Walmsley put 150 miles of training in last week?
I saw that.
That's nuts.
And that's what, I'll say worries me, because everybody's different. But we've seen this over the years.
Yeah, we have.
You know, and that's what worries. I know everybody's different. I would never tell anybody how to train, because I would be the last person.
I would advise against the 150-mile week.
I would.
Yeah.
I mean, he's tapering up.
Yeah, maybe a little too literal.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, that's like, they know their bodies best, but we've said that before about Jeff Rose. Yeah. We've said that before about
Rob Carr,
Skaggs,
Anton.
Yeah, we've said they know their bodies, but Timothy Olson went through a downtime.
It's hard to say no. I mean, when you're in a group of guys that are just crushing it,
and you're having fun.
Oh, having so much fun. Eating lots of pizza, drinking lots of beer, and running all day. It's hard to say no.
Selling gear.
Yeah, selling gear. Yeah.
Coconino Cowboys versus everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Man, they're crushing it on that stuff. Too.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just always interesting, and you never want it. I mean, ideal thing would be everybody shows up ready.
That would be fun.
Would that be crazy if everybody showed the Western that was supposed to be there?
Yeah. And this year,
ready to go.
Going to be, the snow's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, might be heat.
There'll probably be heat. Hopefully no fires.
And I've been.
It's going to be hot and heavy right away.
And I've been thinking about it a lot, because you made the prediction months ago about a woman finishing top 10. And the more I look at that, I'm not saying it can't have. It's going to have to put on that female is going to have a day. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
Did you go back and read that article by AJW that talked about Andrea almost winning?
I didn't.
Back, I think it was like 95-ish.
I didn't.
Somewhere like that. Like, she came in second overall.
That's amazing.
And she almost won it. But I think Tweetmeyer beat her that year.
Well, we seen that at Hard Rock.
Yeah.
The lady from Leadville with the kidney issues.
Gosh, what was her name?
I'm drawing a blank. It's only been a few years, but she was running first place 2 years for 2 years.
Fast.
But had the kidney problems.
She got rhabdomyolysis.
Yeah. But I think more and more, I mean, the women are absolutely getting faster. There's no doubt about it. But I think on the men's side, not are they just getting faster, but I think they're just getting deeper.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You go 10 deep. Years ago, it was 10 deep. Now it's like, 50 deep.
Oh, you could eat. That's the thing is like, it's just, to me, it's way deeper. But then you get back to the point of running the race, because you go out too hard, you're going to die.
Yeah.
And you get caught up in the excitement.
Get a couple smart runners.
Yep.
That don't chase Walmsley right away.
Yep. To chase the whole cowboy pack.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
I mean, that's kind of what you're after. You're like, okay, I'm gonna try to stay in the top 20. And then you just smart. And then after the river, you just start picking people off.
Oh, that's what Jeff Browning did last year when we interviewed him. What race was it, UTMB? Yeah, he was way in the back and ended up like 13 or something like that, just kind of knowing what he's capable of. But then again, you come back to a Walmsley. If he dials it, you're never going to catch him.
Never going to catch that guy.
And you could easily say that for 7 or 8 of those people in that race right now. If they have their day, you're not going to catch them. So it's like, do I let them go and hope they fade and hope I catch on?
Yeah, I think you do.
Do I have to put pressure on them? Does some company hire a rabbit just to run super duper faster than everybody else and die at mile 18 to crush the? I mean, that's.
I'm telling you, I think if you just try to run a smart race, you're going to end up top 10.
What? And I think
your smart race top 10. Now the win it is going to take something else.
It's going to take the perfect day.
It's going to take some Smurf nuts.
Yep.
All right? I'm going to tell you that right now.
A whole bunch of those.
A whole bunch of Smurf nuts, and it's going to take a big bag of balls, and you're just going to have to go for it.
Yep.
And hope that you can hold on.
I think and that goes to this new point that I've been thinking about is I think you have to prepare more now than you did 10 years ago.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like any other sport. When you play somebody, you prepare for their style.
Yeah.
Right? Now I think it's the same with running. You prepare for the course and who you're running against. You need to know if you're a contender, you need to know your competitors better. You know, you'll go back and look at their results here, look at their splits here, you know, kind of see what they do on certain courses. And I think if you're legitimate, you want to go to that, you know, podium level, if you will. I think you have to take into that account now. Yeah. Not just your own training, which is what it's always been about, but if you're that level, you're like, okay, well, if I let him go, can I catch him on an uphill? Is he good at downhill?
You're not going to catch Walmsley. The only thing that's going to defeat Walmsley is his stomach, and that's notoriously fickle. Anything after 50 miles, you know he's not going to be able to hold any food down. And I want to see him crack that. I want to see him win. Be cool.
So my thing, and I don't know him, obviously, but I always in the back of my mind is the psyche.
Yeah.
He's got so much pressure on him for this race more than any other race.
He really does.
And he's young, he's having fun,
yep.
But you just don't know, you know, because he had a video a year or two ago about his depression, I mean, there's something there, right?
Yeah.
So the pressure for this race because of the bad first year, the wrong turn, right? I mean, that was a game changer.
It was. I mean, he had that dialed. That was dialed.
Yeah.
I mean, 93 miles, he was crushing it. If he can go back and repeat that, he'll win, right?
I don't see why he couldn't, for sure. But I just think that's how will he handle this? Isn't one of these other races he's run that's more, I won't say for fun because I know he's competitive, but this one is his.
This is his go-to. He owns this one now. This is his third year, right?
Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. It's more pressure because I mean, look at Walmsley.
I think it's less because he knows every inch of that course now.
But look at Walmsley at Western. He hasn't done anything.
Yeah. I mean, okay, he finished that first year, top 20, right? Okay. That's pretty good.
Yep.
Second year, he DNF'd.
Yep.
Because he was trying to blow it up. He knows every inch of that course.
That's what I'm saying, though.
He's got no pressure on him this year. I don't think he's got any pressure.
I think he's got a lot.
Other than go out and have fun with his buddies.
If that's the thing, if his buddies, if that group can stay fun, I would give him more. I'm not saying he's not going to win.
I think the pressure comes from his friends. They're there because of his audacity 2 years ago. Now they're all there, and he's like, okay, it's my third year. So his buddies are like, oh, shit, this is a big dance. This is big time. And we got to race against this joker. We know what he can do, right?
Spike his water bottle.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you want some pizza? Here.
But that's the thing with Walmsley I've seen, too, is, I mean, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but he hasn't done anything at Western States, literally. Like, I know what he's done.
Right.
But, I mean, when you look at the overall scheme.
You're talking about finishing.
Yeah, if you look at, like, another race, right, who owns that race? Walmsley has nothing to do with Western right now. It's like he's not on the radar because he hasn't really done anything. He's done 93 killer miles, but that doesn't mean anything.
You're just basing it off of a finish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the hype with him in Western, it's like, but he still hasn't proved himself at Western,
right?
Because he hasn't finished, and that's what a lot of the old time dudes are going to say.
He finished 2 years ago. He finished.
Yeah, he did finish
top 20. That's still
great.
Deal.
Yeah, for sure. But for him, was it? You know what I mean?
No.
So that's why I think the pressure, if he can handle that, I think there's, and you said the stomach, but there's, to me, and I said this last year, and it wasn't the pressure, but I'm not penning him in as first place. I would pencil him in.
I'm going to pencil. I'll pen him in with an asterisk.
Okay.
Right?
You're not going to tattoo it. I'm penciling it. I'm not using Sharpie or permanent
use Sharpie
marker.
with a little star next to it if his stomach can hold together.
Okay.
Right?
All right. I still
and then
think it's
beyond that, though, I've got nothing. As far as who's going to be second or third, I got nothing. I have no idea.
Well, we'll do a contest this year, and it's going to be legit. And a lot of it is who shows up healthy, because every year there's one or two scratches, or there's one or two people limping in, like an Ian Sharman, and there's always 1 to 2 names,
right?
That you're like, what? Where did they come from?
Yeah.
He was in my chess club in 8th grade. I didn't know he ran.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, there's always
we have one or two Solomon runners that'll come in and they'll do good.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be cool. I'm glad I'm not going to be there. It's going to be a crazy time out there. But it'll be cool to see how everybody does. All right, let's move on from that. I think we nailed it. And we're going to be talking about it more because, like we said, we're getting into that season where you got these big races that everybody follows. The Hard Rocks are coming up, things like that. And I have to say, next week I'm excited because I'm going to be up in Bellingham.
Yeah.
So I go to work for Seattle, up in Seattle, not for Seattle. I don't have a job for the county of picking up trash, but then I get to go to Bellingham. I'm so excited. I'm just nervous that I'm not as fit as I want to be because I want to see so much.
Just go have fun.
I'm taking a camera.
Yeah.
Jeff Hart is my tour guide. He's already mapped out 3 routes.
There you go.
One's a 20-miler.
Nice.
Which is great, and he's taken me through some of these really cool places.
Right.
So I can't. I'm so excited.
You're going to send a freaking U-Haul back here to pick up your stuff.
There could be an opportunity for that.
Right.
I got a 6-month lease here, so I got to wait 6 months.
You'll be like, all right, I'm moving. I'm out.
That's what makes me nervous because all the pictures I see, that's my stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
You can work up there.
I'm gonna have to. A big deal breaker is going to be the chow.
The chow's on point. What do you mean? Come on.
I've heard that, but I'm
sure
there.
They got cheese curds.
If they have good beer, which obviously I've heard that.
Yeah, they do.
And they've got. We're close to poutine country, but we're not there, right? I mean, there's got to be some. But I don't want to. That's what I've been juggling with. So I've been sick for over a week, so I've been eating decent because I haven't felt good, right?
Right.
And so I'm back to calming my appetite. I'm like, okay, how do I handle this trip? Do I go to good places and get salads? Or do I just say, nope, that's their local fare, I'm going to eat it?
You do that once or twice, you got to go. You got to just dive in.
Okay.
Go for it.
All right. So Bellingham, I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
I'm coming up there. I know Jeff knows the deal. He's talked about the places. He's a cider drinker, but he knows I'm an IPA guy.
Right.
But there'll be some photos posted on social media
with
Bellingham all over the place because that's going to be crazy. It's like a dream run for me. Like it's finally happening. And I even posted on social media because I'm really looking at an East Coast race.
Yeah, not this year or next year.
Probably next year.
Yeah.
This year's pretty tight. If it was this year, it might be like an October time frame. But it's going to be different weather there.
Post bear, that'll be hard to pull off.
Yeah, but it could be like. But I wouldn't go back there to win anything.
Yeah,
like next year, I'll go to win.
You're going to fly all the way back there. You need to do at least a 50-miler.
Yeah, and I want to do a 50K or 50 mile.
Something in that range.
And I've had people reach out to me. It's crazy too. So this kind of started. I've obviously been talking about it, and I won't mention any names, but it cracks me up. I got an email from somebody on the East Coast.
Yeah,
it was a riot, and I'm going to read bits and pieces because I haven't talked to this individual about sharing it on the podcast, and I absolutely don't. I'm not going to use names.
I think if you go back to the East Coast and run, you got to go back and run Amy's race in Vermont.
Which one is that? When is it? September though, right?
It's in September, yeah.
It's first year this year.
It is.
Okay. Yeah, that is something I've looked at, and it's also location. Like where I like the Northeast.
Into Vermont. If you're flying, where are you flying into there?
I don't know.
Boston, probably.
Maybe get some tap from a tree, have some maple syrup.
Fly into Boston, drive up to Vermont, something like that.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But I got this email.
Right.
It says, end your love affair with the Beast Coast and come out and join us. This is an official open invitation. Pick a PA, so Pennsylvania, 50K, lots of good ones. They named Heiner, World's End, Iron Master, and I haven't heard of World's End or Iron Master. I've heard of Heiner.
Right.
And that looks hard as hell.
They're all hard.
This individual says, I'll grab you at the airport, put you up at my place, and handle all the transportation.
Wow.
I mean, seriously, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You just need to bring my wife and I some swag. So I'm like, easy.
Okay. Pennsylvania's easy to get into.
And I like Pennsylvania. I've been there. Been to Hershey Park. So I went to Houston in concert with Kenny G.
Where do they want you to fly into?
No details there.
We need to know. That's important.
But here's my favorite, and I'm going to leave out some of the information because I don't want to pinpoint it.
Okay.
The next, it says bring some swag. The next line says, I'm safe. Almost blank age, married for blank years. I have a good job, so this is not a weird come on. Just extending some hospitality. I was laughing so hard at that.
I like that.
Because I never took it that way at first. Yeah. But it was so funny. And it says, Beast Coaster, who's also a fan of Utah. So I thought that was hilarious. But then I got another email that I'll share, and this is from our friend Steve England, who turned me on to the nipple tape. I get the headline, or the title of the email says, Nip Tape, this is not a clickbait. But they found he was running with a friend, and they came up with some other ones I'm going to try. So that's where it kind of started from, too, a little bit, was this individual inviting me out. I'm like, I really do need to get out there.
That'd be fun.
And so I looked at this Heiner race, because that was the first one he said. It's in April of 2019. Okay. It's sold out.
Already, huh?
Yeah. I was like, holy cow, that must be legit. You can put on the wait list.
Yeah.
It looks really hard. But then I had people, commenting about which ones to go to. And there was more than I thought. Pineland Farms Trail Running Festival in Maine. I've seen this one before.
On that private?
Yep.
Yeah. And
that looks way cool. Mm-hmm. That is going on like next weekend, I think, in May. I don't know if there's different years, but that looks really fun because I'd like to get the whole experience. I got Quest for the Crest in North Carolina.
That looks cool.
12,000 feet of elevation and 31 miles.
Yeah, that's hard.
That's
going to kick your butt.
That'll work you. Eastern Divide Ultra. Breakneck Point Marathon.
Right.
Super technical 9K Avert.
That's a lot.
Yikes. Andrew Giles wants to know if I'll be heading out to Canada area, and I said if there's Mr. Big Bars close by, I will, because it's one of my favorite candy bars. It's the largest size candy bar produced by Cadbury in Canada, hence the name. And I love those things. Jeff Hart, Mount Masochist, 50 Mile in Lynchburg, Virginia. That's a historic one.
That's been around forever.
Yeah, and I know some people have run that. Upchuck 50K in Tennessee. Highland Sky 40 Miler in West Virginia.
Right. That one was actually pretty.
Cruel Jewel. Grayson Highlands. That we've had that one come on here before.
Right.
Destin Beach Ultra. JFK. Cat's Tail Trail Marathon. So there's some I've never heard of, which I like.
I'm sure there's oodles of them that we've never heard of.
Yeah, which I really like. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure that out because the invitation out there to Pennsylvania really got me thinking more.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, man, I got to see what I can pull off for next year. Because there's some races I'm already looking at, obviously, that I've wanted to do in the past. I haven't even started this year yet.
Not really.
That's not till the end of June at Twisted Fork, and then it's just game on till September.
Till the end of September, yeah.
So I'm hoping by force of having to run races, I'll be better fit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just there's a lot out there, and I'm always looking for recommendations. Because even one I would like to run, and we've been talking about it, so we'll talk about it some more, is Run the Red, which is in Rock Springs, Wyoming area. The one we've been talking about for a couple weeks.
Right. Yeah.
I'm hoping people have had a chance to go check out the video.
That video is cool.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of weird? Like, it's Wyoming.
Yeah, it's hard to describe, right, what it's like. I mean, you look at it, you're like, oh, that kind of looks like Utah, in a way.
In a way. In some parts, yeah. But there's a lot of different areas you go through, not just sand.
Right.
There's some sage, there's some, there's the Boar's
like
Tusk.
Red Rock area.
Yep. And that's June 2nd. And that'll be, I'm sure, be June 2nd in 2019. Or that weekend.
Be the first Saturday of June.
Which there's a lot of races.
There are. Holy cow.
But I've already done a lot of those races that weekend.
Right.
Like a Squaw, Pocatello, Smut, whatever that one's going on. Bryce. Because this one has a 50K, 23K, and a 5K. It's put on for a good reason. They're trying to
raise awareness
for the Wilderness Act. It's just really cool. It's, like I said, you run off a sand dune. The video is super cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a video for the Gib Wallace race together because I think videos are selling points for me. Photos are cool, but when you get a video, it's like, it brings it to life.
It does.
So I recommend people check that one out. Check them out on Facebook, Run the Red Desert, or runthereddesert@gmail.com if you have questions. We have a link in our show notes, but it's an advocacy run in the Red Desert in Wyoming. And it looks awesome. So I'm looking forward to potentially doing that in 2019. It's a little off the beaten path.
Yes, it is.
But we've talked about this because we have some races this year that we're doing that are kind of first year or new ones. I want to do more of those, I think. There's not a lot of races. There's only a handful that I'd want to go back to again going forward.
Right.
I think I want to focus more now on things I haven't done.
Something new.
Yeah, because, maybe it's a different distance at the same race.
Right.
Maybe it's a putts. I'm doing the marathon. Maybe next year I want to do the 50 or the 100 to see other parts of the course. Right. But I know there's some races I'm like, okay, I've done it. It was a great race. Maybe I'll volunteer. You know, but there's other, like El Vaquero is probably one of the outliers. Right. Like I would not be surprised if I did that again. Right. Because it is one of those races.
Monument Valley is one I want to go back to.
Yeah. See, and I haven't done that one yet, so that could be a new one for me.
That's kind of on my radar for next year.
And even a race that's kind of in that time zone where, like Red Mountain this year. It's a good time of year.
It is.
So I could go back to that one even though I've done it.
Right.
But, okay, well, there's Black Hills that you want. They're not Black Hills. Black Canyon. It's kind of in that realm.
So the first weekend of March is the Red Desert and also Monument Valley. So I think I'm going to go to Monument Valley.
All right.
I think so.
Yeah, so because you always have to look. That's what's so bad is things open up and sell out so fast on these races.
Have your game plan.
You have to have an idea, at least. And that's where I'm kind of at, and that's why I really want to get to the East Coast. East Coast, I know you have all kinds of technical killer terrain, but I'm such a woodsy guy.
And you're going to get a lot of woods there.
Yeah, I'm a woodsy guy. Like that's why Vermontish area, the Northeast Maine, some of that stuff appeals me. I'm not familiar with Tennessee. I know they've got the Smoky Mountains.
I really looked hard at that Chattanooga 100.
Yeah,
I was looking at that big time. But it's just the logistics of getting in and out of there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just wasn't my cup of tea as far as like, okay, do I fly into Nashville and drive down? Do I fly into Atlanta and drive up? And just the flights from Salt Lake over there.
Yeah.
Just nothing was super convenient. I just wanted like a direct flight. And nothing was just working out the way I wanted it to.
Yeah. So. Well, I think that's obviously everybody goes through that. Like with us, we travel a lot here locally, 400, 500 miles away because it's easy.
Yeah, you can drive
it, right?
No problem.
Come home, camp. There's usually hotel to finish or whatever. But yeah, I definitely have to. I'm going to get through this year, but I have to already start looking at
for sure.
What would I like to do next year? Because there's races I'm doing this year that I won't do next year. That I already know. Like I'm doing some this year. I'm like, I probably won't be back next year, so I got to find something for that time slot. But yeah, you always got to be looking ahead, and I got a lot of time to think about that. But yeah, it is what it is. So let's go through real quick. We're going to do the Strava week because there's a couple new names on here. Distance was Nicholas Budson at 102.2. He's been there before. Run time is again mess up the names. DIDI, so I'm going to say Didi Biderbeck, 2804. And climbing in Salt Lake City was Matt Zabriskie, 30,348 feet.
Nice.
That's pretty stout. So that's some big stuff there. That is a lot.
Holy cow.
And it was my week for Woody Footy.
Yes.
And
there's a lot of good ones.
There's a lot of good ones. And again, this is, we'll say it every week, but the Sign Garage has made this possible. We still have a lot of hats. We've been shipping them out. And I need to go over and get some more bags so we can ship them out because they gave us bags to ship them in too.
That helps.
And I got to square up our bill from the Ogden Trail Running Festival.
Uh-oh.
They were busy last week, so they're like, you're going to have to come in next week and pay.
You're like, okay, I can do that.
You're the last one I got, so let's knock this out. But this week was my turn.
Yes.
Right? And there were some killer ones this week. I have a list because there's some I want to talk. Like Doug Jensen in Kauai, that was rad because I want to run there. Heather Carter, Coldwater Canyon with the rainbow.
Dude, she nailed that one.
That was money. Andrew Giles.
Yeah, north of the wall.
One of my favorites.
That was a good one.
Water, trees.
Yeah.
There wasn't any of the snow. It wasn't gray and gloomy.
Yeah.
That was a great one.
He lucked out. That was like their one day this year.
Right? He's like, I'm nailing it. We got an email from him because he took us up on the, running with his peeps. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like he had a good time.
Yeah, it does. So, Sarah Ohm, exploring Germany since she's moved over there.
It's so good to see her back.
It is.
Participating.
Yep. I'm really bummed that I'll say it. I'm bummed that she moved because we were hoping to meet her.
I mean, how dare she?
Yep. So, Alex Terrell, she took a picture with her dog Coda in her Woody Footy hat, which was rad. Brad Sween, bros, with Logan drinking brews on a peak there.
I couldn't tell if they were drinking brews or Mountain Dews.
They were drinking beer because they had another was an Instagram post.
Gotcha.
And one of them was like the coffee stout. And,
nice.
I don't know what Logan was drinking.
They something legit up there.
They were. It wasn't like some
PBRs.
Yeah, fakies. They were the legit ones.
Fakies, Coors.
Yeah. Jeff Hart had a good one in a shirtless with a tie.
He looked good.
He does. Even running with them in Zion a few weeks ago, he looks good. There's a lot of pictures from over the top up in Pocatello.
Yeah,
our friends up there.
That looked like it was actually fun. Like
yeah,
that type of running condition is fun.
Yeah, it is. It's
right?
not hot,
misty, spooky.
I like that a lot. Preston Wood had a really good one.
Yes,
single track going off into the sunset.
Oh, going up into Lewis, yeah.
And then we had a couple more from Missy Burkles over in Germany. She posted, and our friend Christopher Fell in Germany. So we had 3 Germany posts this week, which is really awesome. But our winner was super cool. And even someone commented on there's your winner.
Oh, yeah.
Goes to Andrea Petersen McAffee.
Okay.
That's MC, so I don't say McAfee, so I'm saying McAfee.
All right.
M little C big A.
Yeah.
Double F double E.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like coffee. So she had an awesome one because we've seen these before where you're kind of above the clouds.
Right.
But there's still clouds above that.
Yeah.
And some,
double-decker.
Some ridges. I like that. What do you call it? Like a double stuffed Oreo?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was awesome. So, Andrea, send me your mailing address, manners@trailmanners.com. We'll get out your Woody Footy hat for you. So many cool ones, though. They're getting better. Like, we had this lull in the winter.
Season progresses.
Yeah,
right?
I had this winter one where there was snow and gray.
Yeah, it's more snow.
There's some good ones from Maryland, some pictures. There are some good ones from New York. Some place like New York, I don't know upstate New York, so some of these photos I'm seeing are like, man, that is cool.
Yeah.
That's not like the Friends coffee shop. You know? That's not Central Park.
Yeah, that's a show they can bring back.
Friends?
I think that one they can bring back and it would be successful.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
And it's not like any of those actors are doing anything else because they were pigeonholed so bad.
Yeah, they were, weren't they? It'd be like, Cheers. Cheers could come back, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that could be successful.
Yeah, whoever's still alive. But it'd be Cheers
exactly. Whoever's still alive.
In a microbrewery or something.
See,
right?
there you go. That's the new spin.
They need to bring it back. And I know the characters made that show, but maybe bring it back like a microbrew yuppie one.
Yeah.
Right? Where one of them's a vegan.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
One of them's a hippie.
Yeah. One does CrossFit, and that's all they talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They could really modernize that. Super. One, like Cliff, you know how he's the postman. He could be like a running coach. Yeah. Somebody knows everything about everything. Right?
Yeah, he won a race. Yo, bro, I'm a running coach now.
That's right.
I won a race. I know everything.
That would be cool. Cheers, and that would be a cool spin-off. I'd watch it.
Yeah, that'd be
sure.
funny.
At least on Netflix, for sure. All right, we got a couple Ask TrailManners questions, and they're
now. Did anybody ask? Did anybody email us and ask if the new Tremors on Netflix is any good?
No.
I got an answer for that.
What is it?
It's not.
It's not? You guys watch it?
Like Tremors 6, A Cold Day in Hell. Don't waste your time.
Don't waste your time.
Yeah. My boy loves Tremors.
Yeah. That was the first one was awesome.
Oh, the first one was great. Kevin Bacon. Oh my
Reba
gosh.
McEntire.
And I think they're actually having like a series, like a Tremors series now
really?
with Kevin Bacon.
He's
now,
not
that
doing
could be
anything.
Good. He's not doing anything.
Yeah, he's not dancing or anything.
Yeah. So if you're wondering if that Tremors Cold Day in Hell is good, no, it's not.
And I watched, I was sick all week and weekend, and I watched Lost in Space.
That was good, wasn't it?
I liked it.
That was really good.
When season 1 ended,
oh, my gosh.
What?
Parker Posey was the best evil person ever.
Oh, yeah. She
Dr. Smith.
Yeah, she did really good.
Yeah.
That was a good one. I liked that one. I was really bummed when it was over.
I know.
My daughter's got me, my youngest, she has me watching Psych. That's pretty funny.
Is it?
Yeah, it was like 7 seasons, though, so we're a long ways from finishing that one.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so that was kind of the Netflix thing. So I'm always looking for something new, too.
Netflix is evil, man.
It really is.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, that's how I was sick. I didn't leave the place Saturday or Sunday because I couldn't leave my bathroom.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, let's watch this. Let's watch this. And I just went,
like 10 hours later, you're like, what the hell happened?
The first 10 minutes Lost in Space, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to like this.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, this is good. And then I'm like, next.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's pretty dang good.
My beard's growing into my eyes. I'm like, next. Yeah, here we go. Ask TrailManners. Okay, this is a good one from our friend Kate. Hello, gentlemen, which I appreciate. Question for you. I've always worn Oakleys. Right now, I have tried the polarized half jackets, I think. I've used them for everything from road cycling, triathlon, road running, lifeguarding, driving, chasing my kids around, life.
She's a busy lady.
I found, however, when I wear them to trail run, I fall. Every single time. It's really technical here on the East Coast, and if I have my glasses on, I catch a toe.
Right.
I'm assuming this is due to shade versus sun and the dappled light from the tree leaves. I've switched to trucker hats, which keeps my face shaded and the sun out of my eyes, but would like to protect my eyes from the elements with glasses.
Right.
Can anybody suggest sunglasses that have worked for them? I'm not asking about fit, but more lenses, I suppose.
Oh.
Have you had this problem, or am I just crazy? Thanks, Kate.
So what do you think about that?
So here's my thing. So for people that don't know, I worked for Smith Optics for about 14 years. Sunglasses, goggles. So I knew it's been 4 years, 3 years. So technology has changed in 3 years.
Yeah.
But I was really deep into the technology because I had to be. So here's my thing, and I know you're going to get a lot of responses, and I know people I hope do post, but you're going to get gooder all day long. Right? Sunglasses. People are going to be posting gooder because they're hip, they're hot, they're colorful,
and they're
cheap. Now, here's one thing I learned early on. Cheap sunglasses, they could be polarized. They could have UV protection. They could have all these things. But one thing that the cheap ones differ from more expensive ones generally are the lens material as well as the lens cut.
Right.
So when you cut a polarized blank, you need to cut it properly, and I mean that by the right side, because there are striations in each thing because there's film in them, and if they get cut off kilter, they can mess with your eyes.
Right.
So I've tried gooder sunglasses. I have 2 pair. I struggle to wear them.
Right.
They strain my eyes.
That's no good.
And
no bueno.
They're not as clear as I want them to be. I love the price because if I drop them, lose them, break them, it's $25.
Out the door.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I've been a Smith guy pretty much my whole life. Before I started working for him, obviously when I worked for him, I love the sunglasses. I still wear them.
Right.
So Smith had a lens. It's like a rose tint. They called it the Igniter, and then they changed it to RC. They had RC36 and all these different lenses. But I don't like a dark lens ever, even when it's super bright out, because you're pigeonholing that lens, and it does give you some contrast.
Right.
Okay. So when I use this rose-colored lens, which a lot of companies are making them now, they're good for low light, and they're good for bright light.
Okay.
The one thing you got to be careful of is when you're doing like a transition-style lens, which Smith does make, especially in ski goggles. It's photochromic is what the name was then. So it adjusts according to the lighting conditions. Those can be dangerous because if you're running in a shaded area, you hit bright or vice versa, they don't adjust instantaneously like the TV shows. So I've always recommended what I like a rimless bottom because you don't have the blind spot of the rim. Okay. And I also like a lighter lens.
Wow.
If you can get interchangeable where you can get it clear.
Right.
In different colors, those are the best, from my opinion.
Right.
They're a little more work.
Definitely a little pricier, too.
And they are pricier, but they're a little more work, but you can always put a lens in based on what you're running in, right?
True.
Because I gave some to Scott Jaime one year when he was running Hard Rock, and I gave him a couple sets of lenses. He put the darkest lens we made in him for when he's up on Hard Rock with all the snow.
Right.
Because he got snowblind one year.
Yeah.
And then at nighttime, he actually switched to clear so he wouldn't get bugs, tree branches, everything else in his eye.
Yeah.
Right? So, and if you wear contacts, it's always nice as well.
True.
So I don't have a brand that I'm going to say use because there's like Zilt, Tifosi, some of these other brands that are out there. But I think it's more based on the lens tint, and a lot of lenses make
fit.
Fit's a huge one, but that's why she said she wasn't worried about the fit.
Oh, man, I think
Fit's huge for me.
Oh, it's so big for me, too.
Because I have a big head.
Yeah.
So if it's too tight, it hurts my temples.
Right.
And Gooder's got a good fit. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
The other thing I look for in glasses is on the nose bridge if they've got rubber on them. Smith called it Magol, so they don't slide when you sweat.
I do like that.
So that's another thing I look at. But for me, it's about the lens tint. And I do like a rimless on the bottom.
Right.
But you have to make sure the lens is big enough because sometimes you'll look down and you're going to have half sunglass and half non.
True.
Right? So that kind of messes with you a little bit. And I don't know. And I know the half jackets, like you say, you trip and fall. A polarized lens is great if you have that glare.
So the polarized, that takes out some of the shadows, right?
It's a glare base. So if you look at a car ahead of you without them and it's got that bright light bouncing off, you put those on, it reduces the refraction of the brightness.
Right. So I think when you're running, it's good and bad with that because it does take out some of the definition on the trail.
It dulls it,
right?
for sure.
So I think that's where you're going to start tripping from.
And also, I think those, if it's a half jacket, I know they've got a thicker frame, I believe.
So maybe that
you got
field
more blind
of vision.
spot. Yeah. And that could
so
be a
that
piece
combination could be trippy.
Yeah, and I know everybody loves Gooder, and I still wear mine, but sometimes I can tell it makes my eyes strain. Like I don't feel like I see as clearly, and I'd rather see clearly than with the sun in my eyes. I don't run with sunglasses a lot.
I wear them on drive.
Oh, I wear them when I drive all the time.
I don't wear them when I run. I haven't ever gotten into that. I've tried it a couple times.
I have.
I ran, when I did Design 100 several years ago, I had a pair of those Smith Lowdowns, which are still my favorite glasses.
Yeah.
I ran in those, and man, they got sweaty.
See, sometimes,
that's what I remember.
And sometimes for me, it's, sweat gets in there, it fogs up, you got to wipe them off. So sometimes just one more tool that you have to take care of or worry about. So that's why I don't as much. I mean, I have a pair of jewel bows, and I actually bought, it's the only pair of sunglasses I paid retail for, which hurt me.
Yeah.
Like you would not believe.
Aren't cheap.
No, they weren't. They're rimless on the bottom. I love them. It's kind of a yellow lens, which isn't bad, and I'll wear those. If I wear right now, if I run in, that's what I wear, because it is a lighter tint. It's got a great fit, rimless on the bottom, and Jilbo does make a good sunglass as well. So that's my 2 cents. I don't know if that helped at all, but just be careful when you're wearing a really dark lens, especially when it's overcast or anything else. Sometimes you just don't get that brightness, and I know, like Smith, when we brought out that igniter lens is what we called it, kind of that pink lens, that was being used for golfing. Like that was what was huge in golf, because you could read the green based on that, as well as pick out the ball. And so Smith's like, well, let's do it in the normal sunglass. And the Tour de France team used it, and that's where it took off. So that's why I like that lens.
All right.
So that's that one. Okay. Whew. Now here's a good one. This is one you have to think about.
All right.
Hey from Canada. Or A from Canada.
There you go.
Thanks for the mention for last week about following TM advice. The 52K run gave me a lot of confidence going into my 50K race in 2.5 weeks.
Right.
And that's kind of what we talked about. I know that everyone is different, but what are some pieces of advice you have received over the years that you just don't understand? You are pretty astute dudes, but there must be advice you get that makes no sense. Bit by bit, you are conquering the world, and it's great to see the wonderful places other people get to run from week to week.
Right,
Andrew. So that's a tough question.
It is.
So pieces of information I don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, when I first started, that was pretty much everything people gave me. Right? It's like, try this. You're going to need to do this, and this needs to do this.
I think it was try hammer heat.
Yeah, hammer heat.
Yeah, try hammer heat. It's all the rage.
Perpetuum.
Oh, Perpetuum.
And that gets warm. It's like drinking pig fat.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one where you look back, you're like, I don't understand that now.
But as far as understand goes, I've been thinking about this all week.
I thought about it for a while.
And I think the problem for me is anytime someone tells me something, most of the time there's an explanation behind it.
Yeah.
But if not, you can Google it.
Sure.
Where before, obviously, 20 years ago, that wasn't an option. And there wasn't any data from it, right? But as far as making no sense to me, I don't know if I've got anything that stands out that I'm like, yeah, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, taper up obviously makes complete sense.
Yeah. I had to explain that to somebody the other day. Somebody goes, what does that mean? I was like, well, it's obvious what it means. I shouldn't have to explain this to you.
Does it mean like suit up?
Yeah.
No. But yeah, I don't know about advice I've received that just I don't understand, because I don't know what that would be. Right? Like if you had an example, maybe I could go down, but it's like what like I said, most of the stuff I just don't do because someone says, "Oh, here, try this."
Right.
I'm like,
Here, try this noon tab.
Yeah. Like I understood that, and I understood what happened, and I understand why I'll never have it again. But yeah, I don't know. As far as like understood, I think, the only thing I could come back to is I went to a local running shop about month or 2 months or so ago, and I was looking for a specific shoe, and it was based off what size drop I wanted. So they were telling me, I'm like, I need a 4 to 6 mil drop. Right. This is what I'm looking for. Oh, I got a shoe for it. They came out with a shoe, and it was between an 8 and a 10. Yeah. Like I didn't go research it when I got home.
Sure.
I put it on. I'm like, nope. And so I tried
high heels right away.
Yeah, and they were trying to tell me about. It was my running gait. It wasn't my drop. It was because of the way I ran.
Right.
And I let him talk me through this. They're a running employee, and I don't know everything about mechanics, obviously.
Right.
I listened to their spiel for a while, and I said, so let me ask you this. I says, I'm 40-something years old.
Yeah.
I'm not a pro.
Yeah.
I've ran for 40-something years, pretty much.
Right.
You want me to change my entire mechanics to buy a shoe to work when there's hundreds of shoes on the market.
Yeah.
And so that was something I didn't, and he tried to explain to me how the right running mechanics, it wouldn't matter what shoe I put on.
You know how hard it is to change running mechanics?
I've seen.
It's nearly impossible. I mean, you can improve them, but the wholesale change is darn near impossible.
Well, and that's not something that you can do over the course of a year or two.
And let me also follow that up. Change to the point where you actually enjoy running.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's really hard to do that.
Because I've even looked at stuff about how to improve that.
Yeah, you can improve it.
But I look, and I never enjoyed it because I was constantly thinking about that.
Exactly.
I'm like, hey, you got to run this way, downhill. And I'm like, wait a minute, where am I?
Yeah.
I missed the turn.
Yeah.
Or something. So, I mean, that was one thing I didn't understand.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a good, there's a good example right there.
Yeah.
Change your running mechanics so drastically that you can fit into this one brand of shoe, or this one style of, like, the pose running, or the chi running, or whatever it is. You know, that's something that you look at, you're just like, no.
Well, and you go to any race and just watch people run, look at their gait.
Yeah.
And I've heard people say, I know who that is based on their gait because they have that gait, right?
Yeah.
Now go tell that speedy person, that slow person, you're running wrong.
Yeah,
you got to run this way. So that's something that's a good point. I've never understood running mechanics because, I mean, that's something that you need to start very young, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you have to understand why you're doing it.
Right.
And you have to have the correct person showing you how to do that, which as of now, today, there's, a billion people that know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But only 2 of those probably are legit.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I think that's one. I think running gait is definitely one.
That flashlight for me.
Yeah. Okay.
I still don't get running with a flashlight.
Yeah.
And it's because of my janky mechanics.
I've run with a flashlight.
It's dumb.
I've run with a flashlight. I don't anymore.
Yeah, I can't do it.
I tried it, and I'm like, oh, this works pretty good. But then at the end of the day, I had it in my hand. My arm got tired, and I kept switching hands. I couldn't carry a handheld in my hand. You can't carry hiking poles.
No, you can't carry your Big Mac.
Can't carry your Big Mac or your sausage McMuffin with cheese.
Oh.
So, yeah, I mean, the flashlight, I think for when I talk to people about the flashlight, it was more about the color of the bulb.
Right, you go with that green one.
Yeah.
Right. There's David Crockett.
Yeah,
with his green flashlight.
I heard orange, I've heard that, and I heard, the whole, and which I kind of saw a little bit was that whole depth perception.
Yeah. But we got that solved now.
Exactly.
We got the Lumen 600.
You don't have to put it in your hand.
No, you just strap that bad boy to your beer gut and you're ready to go.
I wore it all weekend watching Netflix.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good one, flashlight. I mean, I'm curious what other people think or advice they've never understood.
Yeah,
and there's some that here's another one. So it's not that I don't understand it. I think sometimes I just don't want to do it. Because the people talk to me about eating style, like vegan and all that. And I understand it, but I'm like, no. And they try and pressure me, right? Oh, my God, you'll do this. I'm like, you don't understand. I enjoy. It may not be as healthy.
Yeah.
And I feel bad. And I would never make anybody, they're like, oh, it's bad animals and this. I'm like, listen.
Yeah, I get it.
I've been doing it my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Could
roll with that bacon?
Could I go the rest of my life without eating bacon? Absolutely. I probably could. Do I want to? Why would I want to? Right? So I think there's some of those. I think it's more of some of those.
Mm-hmm.
And right now you get so many strong opinions.
Sure.
On everything.
Yeah.
No matter what you say. Like
even we have strong opinions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But we've always prefaced it with, we don't know everything. This works for us. And I think in running, that's the biggest thing, is if it works for you, it almost doesn't matter what anybody else thinks.
Roll with it, but don't be that person on social media that thinks that they know everything, right?
Well, you mentioned noon tablets with me.
Yeah, that was fun.
People love that, and I will never have them again. That was
good fun. We need to do that
Perpetuum.
Again.
There's people out there, I said Perpetuum does this, and people out there, and I love that stuff.
We need to do that again. Go down the Grand Canyon, get a little bit dehydrated, and have a little noon tablet eating contest at the Indian Springs campground.
A little dehydrated. I was like exorcism. I felt bad. I probably graffitied the walls with my stuff.
With your innards.
Yeah. But I think that's a good question, though, but I don't know if there's anything I haven't understood. And again, if I see something, I look at it a little bit. I look at the source it comes from sometimes.
Running in those little sandals. Yeah.
I don't understand that.
I don't either.
I don't. And I know people like it, but I just do not.
We have a girl here locally that does that.
Yeah.
And every time we see her, I just cringe.
I do.
Because I'm thinking, oh, there goes the toe right there.
And I know people love it.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to that vegan or how you eat or don't drink or whatever it is, but I don't understand that. Like, I don't. Like, I see what's
so
between.
Nervous all the time.
Well, they say you run more conscious and mindfully. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Like, but
my deal is I don't want to think about it when I'm out there running.
Yeah, and I know some people like that too, but that little tread they've got, it's not secure, right? I mean, it's got straps and stuff.
Some strappies.
But you go downhill with any pace.
Ooh, yeah. I wonder how that works out.
That's going to hurt. I know your feet have to get used to it. It's not going to run out there first day. But even people that use it a lot, I just see like a technical trail. A lot of rocks.
Oh, gosh,
I mean, I look at those because I wear flip-flops or sandals and I'm like a Chaco, you know, right? When your Chacos get wet, your foot just slides around.
They do, don't
goofy. So in a race, if it's not like bone dry and then you got sand to deal with, obviously rocks, sticks.
Yeah, right.
I mean, your feet get used to it, but I just don't. That's one I do not understand.
There we go. See, we got one. We finally got one.
And there's probably more now that we're opening that up, but I'm curious what more people don't understand out there too.
I'm trying to think like gear-wise, what else? I don't know.
You know, there was a piece of gear that I saw at outdoor retailers 8+ years ago that I understood, and I can't believe it didn't happen, and maybe it's because it don't work.
What's that?
So I've always had a problem using hydration bladders because I know how much I drink.
Oh, I know where you're going with it.
They had this little mechanical thing. You split your hose and insert it on each side, and it's a gauge. Yeah. You program how much is in your bottle, and as you drink, it supposedly gauges how much you've gone.
Yeah,
and
so if your bladder holds 70 ounces, you reset it to 70.
And when you fill it.
And as you're drinking, it tells you how much you drank.
And I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, that was back in the day when everybody had bladders.
Yeah, and I never seen anything come from it. I don't know if it didn't work for one reason or another or what it was. But
all those companies there's only a couple of companies that actually make bladders, right?
Yeah.
They didn't buy into it.
Do you remember the Nathan bladder that was 2 bladders with one straw that had the nozzle?
I do remember that.
Yeah, those were cool. When they first came out, I was like, heck yeah, man, you got your
water and then you got your electrolyte mix. That's what that was. I do remember that.
I remember using that for the first time.
Yeah.
It was heavy as hell.
It was way heavy because you could carry 100 ounces so easily.
You could, man. I'm like, oh, my back hurts.
Yeah.
You know, got reverse boobs going on over here. But it was a cool invention.
That was a good invention.
It didn't last.
No, thank goodness it didn't last.
I think some people were probably like misinterpreting, like one side to be rum, one side to be Coke, and try to mix it right, maybe.
Good point. You could do that way.
But yeah, that's kind of all I have, but for the understanding part, because I think most of it, the only thing I could see of now is like even like newer products coming out, not understanding the use or the purpose for them too.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's to the point. We will never see everything, but we've seen most things.
I think so. I think we're at that point now where it's just minor tweaks.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's nutrition based. Maybe there's some type of new nutrition that comes out. You know, like elephant turds.
Turds, yeah.
Because they make paper out of it now. So I know it's going to be something like that. But that's probably all I have. But again, if you've got any of those thoughts on those or sunglasses, please post on the Facebook Singletrack Session 89 because that's what we're here for. The Ask TrailManners here. I think that's pretty much it. So, you got anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. So, thanks for listening to the podcast. We're gearing up, hopefully for big summer. We're working on some scheduling. But thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time.